So first, if you could just say your name and what role you played in Antigone.
Yes, I am Deanna Brookins, and I played Antigone.
Okay. I was wondering if first you could just kind of give a synopsis of the play from Antigone's point of view.
Okay. Well, Antigone finds out that her brother Polynices, who has just brought an army to Thebes, he died in the battle, along with her other brother, Eteocles, who was the ruler of Thebes. And so Eteocles is going to be buried, given a hero's burial, and Polynices will not be buried at all. She's just found this out. So she needs, in her opinion, to bury her brother, because the only way that somebody can travel to the underworld is by having an honorable burial. Otherwise, they won't be able to go to the underworld. So she asks her sister for help burying her brother, and her sister refuses, so she does it herself. And she's found out, and she's brought to the king, to Creon. And Creon, who made the edict that Polynices couldn't be buried, essentially sentences her to death for breaking his law. And so she travels to her cave, and she chooses to kill herself, which is an honorable suicide, because she would have died anyway. She was being locked in a cave with only limited food and water, so it was seen as an honorable suicide. So she's under the assumption that she'll travel to the underworld as well.
Okay. She knew what would happen if she chose to give her brother burial.
Yes.
Can you kind of talk about like her decision to do that and the struggle in making that decision?
Yeah, I think for Antigone, so much about her character, things that are important to her are the law of the gods, but also the fact that she wants her family to be unified, and that she has love, respect, and pride for her family. So the decision to bury her brother is one out of that family loyalty, as well as, in her opinion, that it's the law of the gods that everybody be buried, that nobody be denied that right, even if they did bring the foreign army, to the city gates, that they still deserve to be buried. So for me, as an actress especially, I really focused on that family loyalty, so that the decision wasn't as much of a struggle as to whether or not she had to go. I think the struggle is accepting the fate afterwards. Yeah.
So with the kind of unique way that the play was produced, what was that process like? Were there any big changes that you made or anything like that with the decision to have the audience interacting and everything like that?
I think that was a set idea from the beginning, to have the style be very presentational. The promenade, I think, is what we called the style of having the audience be standing in between us. But having it be presentational was something that we had thought there would be moments of presentation where we were talking to the audience, and then we really went, we kind of found where those moments were as the process went along, which was really fun. And there were, I remember there were some performances where the audience was really involved, or where you could tell in this moment you wanted to be speaking to the audience. And we were given a lot of freedom in finding that throughout the process, and a lot of, encouragement to remember you can bring the audience in here, which was really fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So were there any kind of struggles with that? Were there any problems with that style, or was it pretty smooth in terms of incorporating the audience the whole time?
Well, I think throughout the process, at any given time in the space, Carol would try to have the people who are not acting get up and be in the space so that we had some people to talk to. But until we really got into the space and getting towards tech, we didn't have a lot of people there to be talking to. So it was a little it was well, it was a lot different whenever we had a lot of people in the space that we could talk to and feed off of, to get them on our side, to get our points across to the other people we were acting with. Yeah, so it was a big shift. It was really fun.
Yeah. What do you think presenting the play in that style? Do you think it added anything to the piece?
Yeah, I don't think people. I mean, I know I've never been involved in a piece where I was an audience member that was that involved throughout. You know, even involved in the sense that you have to stand and be a part of the world in that way. So I think it's something new for people, which is always a good thing, you know. And could you ask me part of the question again?
I was just wondering if you felt it added anything that wouldn't have been there necessarily, if it would have just been a performance piece, I guess.
Yeah, I think feeling like you're a part of the world, not being able to kind of back away and hide it all, it keeps you more engaged the entire time. Because I know that there are some times where I can kind of like, you know, zone out a little bit if there's something that's going on, or maybe I start thinking about, you know, how does this relate to me or whatever. But whenever you're there and someone's talking to you or someone's moving through you, your focus is necessary. They're pulling it in. So I think, and I do think I always love to feel a part of something, you know. And so coming to the theater and being really a part of the audience, not just sitting beside them and knowing there's people sitting behind me, but, you know, they're all around you and standing with you. I think that that's such a great part of, you know, being involved in the theater, is that kind of like the group, you know, the togetherness. So.
Well, that does it for my questions. I guess if you had anything you wanted to talk about or anything with it?
I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else to say off the top of my head, but...
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Okay, awesome.
So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.